What up, dudes and dudettes? Welcome to GTRT, the place where the cool geeks gather. My name is Gino.
And this is Reggie.
And today we're doing an spoiler review on Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, it's huge spoilers, so you've been warned. There's going to be a lot of spoilers in this video. Please like and subscribe and comment below. And we're just going to get to it now. So basically, I watched it. It was a really good Kaiju movie.
Okay.
It was very, very, very well put together. The effects were really good. I really liked it. The story moved in a kind of like, it was a little bit choppy because of the fight scenes, but it was a good movie. But I have to say this. They have absolutely no regard for human life in this movie. The fights are just, there's a lot of things in it that doesn't make sense in a physics and a science kind of way.
Wait. But is no human life, no regard for no human life, is that a good thing or a bad thing for you?
It's really bad. It's bad. It's bad either way because the destruction is so, it's not, the fights are really good.
Okay.
They start off the movie with a very interesting kind of like Mighty Yo Young kind of like style where like it's a human being. They make him relatable.
Like the connection with him.
They have the connection with Kong, and Kong's now a mature Kong because now, so he can take on, from Skull Island from before. From there, the movie kind of moves into a little bit of like kind of Indiana Jones style. Like they try to make it into an adventure and put him in on the adventure to basically find his origins.
Okay.
And with it, they bring in like Hollow Earth.
Oh.
So they do that. So they started that at the first movie. If you watched Godzilla King of Monsters, which was the previous one, they have these things where they start talking about like the Hollow Earth theory and then how he gets around and how when he's fighting Monster Zero and the rest of the Kaijus. There's not a lot of Kaijus in this movie except for maybe, I think, the 2 Cobra-sized ones at when he gets to the cave area in the Hollow Earth, and there's a lizard thing that goes by, and that's basically it.
Oh wow!
So there's nothing else from the King of Monsters movie where they have all the different kind of kaijus like the spider, the mammoth. They have one that was like huge as a mountain. They don't do any of that. Oh wow! They emphasize the movie, especially on Godzilla. On Godzilla and Kong. Not just the fighting, but they do give you the explanation in it of why they're attacking each other. It's not like the one before in King of Monsters where it was like you had Ghidorah, like King Ghidorah, trying to prove that he was alpha.
Of course.
It wasn't like that. They try to emphasize a little bit on that, but
I like that part because
the fact of the matter is that
alpha. Well, he was.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is that Godzilla would just destroy King Kong. In a fight. If you really look at it from the way of the lizard, the giant lizard, and what he has, and how King Kong is he has nothing. Yeah. Even they gave him a weapon in the movie, which you probably saw in the trailer. It's an axe, and then it has like a fin that does have
like a dorsal thing.
Yeah, like a dorsal fin from Godzilla. It's not actually from that Godzilla, but they have it from previous.
Oh, from a previous Godzilla.
Yeah, so they kind of to spoil it. It's once they get to Antarctica, I think it is. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
They find a way to get into the Hollow Earth, and they end up. They bring Kong in like these things.
This is what I like. They are using real things that are kind of like come out in research and stuff from different real scientists. So they are using it into the story. No,
they're not.
The Antarctica thing is a known theory.
Okay.
Like that's why I'm happy.
That's
why I'm happy because you're telling me. I'm like, oh shoot, I haven't seen it, so that's
the science in this movie is absolutely insane. I don't know. To me, there's probably theories that are based. I know.
It's a dinosaur that it's a radioactive dinosaur. Sometimes people come to me, oh man, that doesn't seem real. They go, it's a dinosaur, it's a radioactive dinosaur, motherfucker, with a gigantic King Kong, gigantic gorilla. Gorilla.
Yeah.
There's nothing real about this. You should be going in there with your mind already into,
super open.
So, but if you use something kind of like a real something that you've seen somewhere, some kind of theories may not be real proven, but they are theories. So when you're listening to and they produce this movie basing it on these theories, it's a little more palatable, no? It's like you're like, all right, cool, I heard that, or okay, this that could happen. Like you said, for example, what do you think of the amount of interaction between the humans and the monsters in this movie? To you,
the humans take like a back seat. The human takes a back seat. I would probably say, and that's why I'm saying that the movie does look choppy, because they do have scenes where the human beings are involved, obviously, because there has to be a narrative, and they have to have actors. You can't have a monkey and an ape or a gorilla or giant gorilla running around fighting a
2 hours,
giant lizard for 2 hours.
Not that we're going to be, but after all, we're going to be like,
But when you see the scenes,
you want to make it dramatic.
They look, they're very, very, they're rushed. It's obviously like an action movie. It has absolutely no merit for the acting that they do, because they're just going through the motions. They have to run over here, green screen, run over there.
I'm not expecting any acting either, man. Like the less acting, because that means less humans in there. I mean, I need them to make some things make sense, you know. Like also for the people that are watching the movie to feel a connection to whatever it is. Because if it's once again two monsters, you're like, all right, cool, two monsters fighting. But there's humans dying, there's some humans talking to them. Well, okay, there's a way for you to kind of like connect to the movie through these characters. To me, you know, that's why some of these characters, for example, the girl that talks to Kong, this idea has been used before in a Godzilla movie. There's like the twins. I'm forgetting the name right now. Mothra.
Yeah. Job, no, there's the interdimensional twins in the previous Godzilla, Gojira series, where they basically have two interdimensional twins that communicate with Mothra, with the egg of Mothra throughout the movie.
So now imagine that you just take the interdimensional and I just make a girl that knows sign language, and you teach a giant monkey with a giant brain.
Well, he does. They do. That's the whole point of the movie.
So that makes sense. That could actually make sense, and people are like, all right, that makes sense. You don't go like saying, oh, whatever, it's an interdimensional, whatever. You say, oh, that girl knows sign language, and this guy is a giant monkey with a giant brain, so he can learn something. We're not saying he's a genius, but he can communicate, so it makes you kind of like be okay. That now you're connected.
The good thing is about the movie is that they don't make it silly. At least that's the good thing, and it's not like it's not a lot of campiness. That's the great part about it. I would look at it more as a tribute movie for Godzilla and Kong, and also Mechagodzilla's in it.
I'm Team Kong.
And the way I really didn't like the way they did Mechagodzilla. It looks like. Man, you remember this Transformer? I think it was the Metroplex that transformed into a giant robot. Yeah. It looks something like that. I think it's a Decepticon. Between those two, it looks very Michael Bay style. In the way that they do. Yeah, they do it. It doesn't give you the same. I guess because from previous we had like the boxiness of Mechagodzilla.
We're used to the kind of like the old school.
And even when they did the remake, I think Godzilla 2000 has something that has Mechagodzilla in it, where they did more streamlined design. This one, it just looks very, I don't know, cheap for what they did.
But it doesn't take from the movie though, does it?
It takes a little bit from the movie, because at the end of it gives you the relationship between like Kong and Godzilla and the respect between them. Okay. So you have to have a common enemy for them to be able to have middle ground, and then him say, okay, you know what, I'm not gonna shoot you with my laser and then burn you up. You know what I mean?
Makes sense, because usually Godzilla, when he appears, there's usually a reason, no?
Yeah.
He may destroy everything, but whatever he's gonna fight will completely annihilate life in Earth. So it's kind of like you take it. You know, he's gonna destroy everything, but you cannot take it. No, so when he appears in the movie with a reason, you're like, all right, cool. This is happening for and now you're giving a real villain that they can unite against. Because that's why he's here. Because Godzilla is supposed to be the apex. They made him to exclusively to be able to destroy Godzilla, no? So we know he's overpowered.
So they give Monster Zero. They have Monster Zero's skull.
Oh.
And then it links him with the Asian gentleman, the Asian actor that's in the movie.
Okay.
So he gets linked up with like kind of like Evangelion style.
All right.
They don't have a chair or anything like that, but they have the skull. And
because
basically,
the guy is the one who knows about Godzilla, knows that
to
this
give
happened.
Godzilla from his experience, and then eventually when they find this particle.
Also makes sense because he's Japanese, and in the history through the years, we know that Godzilla has always been attacking mostly Japan. So these guys know what is happening. This guy usually shows up when something is about to happen.
Yeah.
So everybody might be tripping around or whatever. He's like, all right, I know everything is crazy, but something is about this guy showing up because of a reason. No?
Yeah.
And the action.
They play with that. They play with the reasons. They use the human characters to interpret that. How like, he saved us before, and now they're trying to villainize him because they use the same machine that they had in the Godzilla movie, the King of Monsters, where they basically try to track him. So that's basically how you end up getting the fight overseas with Kong. As they're transporting him through the ocean, that you can see it in the trailer that it fights, and that's what I'm saying. Like the sailors there, it's like all those boats that get annihilated. And he's jumping up and down, which is ridiculous.
It has to be well.
It gives you a little. You know what it gives you. You know what it gives you. It gives you a little bit of battlefield, kind of like battleship. Kind of vibe when you watch that scene. That's what I'm saying.
But the original Godzillas were always destroying everything. You didn't see. Well, you knew it was falling on top of people. You just didn't. It wasn't that bloody, I guess, or gory. But nowadays, in this movie, they two monsters, man.
There's no gore. There's no gore. There's no gore whatsoever. Like no gore, no blood. I don't think in any of the scenes that I ever saw anybody get killed or get annihilated or do anything.
So there's a lot of death, but there's no gore. So you can concentrate on the action. So that's now the important question. How's the action? Man?
The action's really good. The action, it starts off a little bit slow. You give you the explanation. They give you the intro, the position, and everything that's happening, and then you get Godzilla coming in through in the city where now they don't have Monarch. They have an organization that's taken over, and basically they're another science group that's gonna start. Like they basically are the ones who designed like Mechagodzilla.
Okay. So they control.
Yeah. So they control that. So basically, they have really good action at the beginning because they're just destroying the city. But what they're doing is just making him out for the villain at the beginning of the movie.
Of course, because
they make him into that. Then you have
we kind of knew that. We kind of knew that. We kind of know that Godzilla was kind of like.
I thought that what they were gonna do was that instead of having Godzilla as because of the scenes where they were fighting together, I thought what they were gonna do was that they were gonna actually have Godzilla be Mechagodzilla from off the bat. So
from the beginning.
Yeah, because I thought because of the size differential would be like Godzilla would be massively bigger than
I
Kong.
didn't think that. Even from the thing, I thought they're gonna make him as a villain first because they want to make him fight first. No, obviously, kind of like Batman and Superman. You want to make them not like each other, so you want to make them fight. Sorry, we'll need a minute. That's the real villain, no? Because you want to see them fight. I mean, I want to see them fight, but at the same time, I don't want to see them being enemies. You know, I want to see them fight, and then after that, be like, hey, man, like everything is cool. Everything is cool. Whatever you won, I won. Whatever.
I would,
and it seemed like it was that.
That's
but you gotta give him
at the ending.
You gotta give him another villain and a real villain, a powerful one that. I think this one, Mechagodzilla is not only a powerful robot, but it also has a whole organization behind him, which made him the perfect villain because not only is a monster, but it's like a whole organization that wants to control the world or wants to something. So you can actually build something on this. You can make a whole Monsterverse. I actually 2 days ago, I think I saw an article where they're thinking of actually going for a trilogy and continue it with more kaijus.
They're gonna do it because the movie, obviously, because of the rating that it got at the beginning, was like so insane. You know, it was like 7-something per 7 on.
That's worldwide.
It was just how it was that everybody really liked it.
Kong, so.
Yeah, it was like everybody liked it, and it had its huge box office now, so they made them a lot of money. And to be honest with you, besides having people design, the 3-dimensional graphics and everything on it, and then having everybody running around on green screens, and I think they might have had 3 or 4 places where they actually had to build like a set. When they're on the boat, they have the set. They basically have like in a science lab. They have another part where they're using elevators, and then the ships. They use these ships where like basically kind of anti-gravity.
Okay.
When they're going into the hollow earth, where it can offset like the pull of gravity on both sides, so they're powerful enough. But except for that, everything else is just all CGI.
But it's not like obvious.
It is obvious.
Really?
Yeah, they did a really good job on it. They did a really good job for what it. Like, if you look, and that's the thing. I'm looking at this. Yeah, I'm looking at this from the perspective of from where Gojira started, like way back in the day, to like where it is now. Because we don't get Godzilla like an iguana.
Good.
We don't get P. Diddy like remaking Kashmir like some marketing ploy. We don't get these like. All this marketing stuff in that sense of like products and all this nonsense that they did before when they had the previous Godzilla.
Okay.
For like North American audiences.
So you're saying that you notice that is the CGI, but it's good, it's well applied.
It's well applied, but
it doesn't take from the action, from the movie itself.
But you're not gonna get an R, like if you're expecting an R-rated movie kind of style, like fight or anything like that, you're not gonna get that. And I think they really
I think they
captured.
Did it on purpose,
they did it on purpose, obviously, because they want to make it marketable.
They want to make it marketable. Keep the kids too. They want to appeal to the grown-ups, but they also want to appeal.
I think they learned a lot from having, like I said, those previous movies like Battleship, Pacific Rim.
Yes,
that showed them like a lot of ways of how to do these things with the Jaegers and and different kaijus that they had in that movie.
And I think in Japan they have a history of making movies about not only monsters but big robots, live action robots.
Yeah, the Ultraman.
Ultraman,
right?
Ultraman,
Messenger,
and all those. And they have live action TVs and live actions. So now that you have a kind of like a cooperation with Japan, for Godzilla, and with Americans with Kong, then you can do the CGI for the monsters using the experience that the Japanese already have. No?
Yeah.
I like that, and I'm happy that they are thinking of keep expanding the universe.
I don't know what they can do.
Not only with these two, right? But there's more. Mothra has been making movies in Japan for a while. King Ghidorah too, and a couple more.
I just think they'll be able to make another like a third movie, but it would have to be something like end of the world kind of thing. Like the day after tomorrow, like a lot of global destruction.
You don't have to go. You don't have to go. I mean, Godzilla has been destroying everywhere for decades, so you can keep destroying countries and without having to make it. Plus, they did Shin Godzilla, 3-4 years ago, and the guy was super overpowered and destroyed everything. So they already done it.
Oh yeah.
But it wasn't part of the
continuity. Yeah.
The continuity. So because
Shin Godzilla was great. Like that was a great movie also.
But that's taken. Some people say, oh, why did we take it to the extreme? That's the extreme. So, but you don't want to take it that way. You wanna. This is perfect. Now these guys are already super overpowered. They can destroy countries already. So make him move from a country to another country, or do something else.
Yeah,
they don't have to destroy the whole.
They can do it.
Planet,
they can do obviously with the amount of money and the amount of people that watch this movie. People you're gonna get a lot of. They're interested, and you're gonna get a lot of people that are gonna want to watch the sequel or the third one or whatever it is on the Monsterverse. But it's just that I just think you're gonna have a challenge to try to move from this to go to the next one without having just a mindless movie. Where they're not gonna be able to. Now that you've had the respect shown between both of them as kaijus, then now how do we move on from here? Because they can't. It's the same. Was the same thing that happened when now that we got the Snyder Cut, where people now understand how Steppenwolf is secondary or like a lieutenant for Darkseid. So then in this movie you do see how Godzilla is so much superior than Kong in the sense of like in a fight for real, like when the cards are down and everything's blowing up and all these things, because that's what we got in the previous movie when we had like Monster Zero fight him. In this one, you just have the mutual respect, but then also you have to deal with the reality that like a giant lizard that shoots out lasers, nuclear freaking lasers, and the tail and the claws and everything would just have a field day with Kong. I don't see. People can comment below if you want to prove me wrong, but I'm telling you, he would in the real Killer Instinct kind of style, he would annihilate him.
I believed that before, but when I saw the trailer, I saw that he was intelligent, agile, things that Godzilla is not. Godzilla is little arms, like he can grab anything.
Well, because they make it like T-Rex style.
He jump around, jumps around and then punch him. And the guy's like, so he only has to stay away and shoot lasers. The guy has to jump and use his intelligence.
It was just
if you can actually make and balance it all out with the power of this guy, with the intelligence and agility of this guy, who is also a gigantic gorilla with amazing gigantic power. So if you can actually balance it all out with intelligence and power and whatever, you can do something. The other monsters have proven that they are intelligent or something like that too. So you can do Monsterverse. It can be that, man. But the thing is,
if you believe,
the thing is, we don't. What I want is to keep doing the cooperation with Japan, because Japan has been doing this type of movies for decades. Americans don't know how to do this movie. They gave him that Godzilla, and you remember that?
No, that's what I was saying before, right? Like they had Puff Daddy, they
didn't know what to do
marketing,
with it.
and they had like a giant.
Because they see, oh, it's a giant lizard. Okay, it has to be real. We don't want reality. We want a great movie. Once again, you're already giving me a radioactive dinosaur, so just push it up a little over there, make it believable.
Kaiju, it's not a dinosaur, it's kaiju.
No, but it's a dinosaur, no? But it's gigantic, so he makes them a kaiju. But now, that's what he is, no? So we already have him. So what I want to believe is already pushed to the limits. So
your mind's open.
I'm willing to go a little bit farther if you can actually explain something and make it explainable. And people can be like, all right, cool, no? As long as you can be like...
Listen, as crazy as the Hollow Earth thing is, because the way that they make it look is very... at times, you look at the technology in the movie, and it's so... ahead of his time, where they just say, okay, what if these possibilities, what if these things, what if this would happen? But what the Hollow Earth is actually something that people can actually believe better than the actual flat Earth thing.
Yeah.
Which they didn't go into, thank goodness they didn't go into that, because then the movie would just would have been ridiculous.
Yeah, but that depends.
In the self. So that's what I'm saying. They didn't go into the campiness. They didn't go into that extreme.
But this is what I'm talking about. If this movie was made in the times of Star Wars, there's a lot of stuff that the Star Wars did that people were like, oh, whatever. And now everybody's like, yeah, that shit could happen because science. But in that time, people were like, this is not going to happen. What I'm saying is, even if you're going to a movie, unless you're watching a documentary, anything that you're going into is already pushing your mind. Sherlock Holmes was made in the 1800s, and the guy could read people's minds and see their Twitch or whatever. And people were like, in 2021, people are like, whatever. But when you go to the movies and you see Sherlock Holmes, you are like, I'm going to push my disbelief that there's a guy who actually can do this crazy stuff. That's all I'm saying. But when people is like, but just don't give me this thing that people already told me that doesn't believe me. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you give me the flat earth, whatever. Are you gonna make it believable in the movie? They make
it believable.
I watch your movie.
They make it believable.
I watch your movie. I don't care. I watch your movie. I don't care what it is. Make it believable. I'll watch your movie. If you're gonna use something, just use it, but make it believable. The same thing as the Star Wars. Once again, the guy was using what? The Force, and right now we know that it was Chi. The Chinese people, they call it the Chi. Other people call it this, the Force. There's many names to what this guy or Lucas just named the Force. It was a new name for something already done. So what I'm saying is, if somebody doesn't use, you find an idea from a book, from somebody, a theory that can be, there's something, I can make a movie about this, boom.
Yeah,
then you can make a movie, no?
The science
as long as you can make
the science in itself is not extreme. So
yeah,
it's good.
What I'm saying. The Hollow Earth is not extreme or whatever.
I would recommend
even if it's extreme.
It's a good movie. I don't think it's the best Godzilla movie that I've ever seen, but it's a good movie.
I have to see it. To me, I like Shin, but it's not part of continuity. I like Destroy All Monsters.
Destroy All Monsters?
There's one where all the monsters fight, Godzilla and everybody else, like in the 80s. Destroy.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Destroy all monsters, always. It's something like that, Destroy all monsters. So that one is still kind of like one of my favorites. But I have to see this one. But all the reviews of the people that love Kaiju movies, Thailand movies, they love it, so I'm cool with that. People that are kind of like in the middle, that are like, okay, give me a good story, and I believe those people are also liking them, you know, like. So most of the reviews are going for the about 75 up. 75% up, everybody is liking it around the world, no? Because you're giving them what they want, this is monster fighting.
If I was gonna go like to 10, I would say like it's like a 6.5, like 6. something like that.
Out of 10.
Like,
out of
10.
10.
Because it's not like, I didn't walk away from it just saying, wow, this is the most amazing Godzilla movie and like Kong movie that I've ever seen. But I think King of Monsters is probably better.
All right.
You know, just in my taste, because it just gives you a more pure kaiju experience of like everything.
Less humans.
Yeah, like they made the movie because they needed to make the movie. At the end of the day, you know, they needed to make a Kong. They needed to link them up because they didn't do it in the previous.
I ain't gonna hate them for that. I was one of the guys that was like,
yeah, but if they didn't make it, King of Monsters would have been a great finale for the whole franchise.
But it's never gonna stop. It's always gonna be like the next one and the next one.
Of course, they need the licensing, right? So
so I guess it's your 6.5 with the review that you've and the reasons why. I understand why. It's still which means that it still makes the 6.5 may sound like it's kind of low, but it's not really.
It's not. I'm saying this because it's just the movie in itself is a good movie. But if you look at it from a Godzilla perspective, then it's you know, it's not the best Godzilla movie that you've ever seen. And if you look at it from the kaiju perspective, it's probably like it's not the best.
There, but it's not the top.
It's not. It's top 10, but not by a lot.
Okay.
It's just because you've had so many movies where you have different dynamics. Where sometimes it works a little bit better, and then you get a bit of better story. In this one, it's just concentrating on the fighting. The scenes with the humans is just, you know, they're just there either as cannon fodder or just to die in certain characters, and you know, every person with like the evil intention basically gets eliminated. But yeah, it's just that. It's like the movie. You're gonna be entertained. Okay. You're gonna be entertained,
and that's what we want.
And you're not gonna get crazy violence to the point of that you can't sit your 10-year-old and watch the movie, which is something smart that they did.
Perfect.
And the way that the scenes are put together with the comedy, there's nothing in that's gratuitous.
All right.
There's none of the actors, you know, whether male or female or super sexualized to the point of like you're just sitting there going like, oh my god, like distracted on that. So. It gives you a really human movie, and then it gives you a good monster movie.
That sounds good, man. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's good.
Even though it's 6.5, that sounds good. So I think people will understand when you explain it that way.
Yeah.
So that's about all for today's episode of the Geeks of the Roundtable Show. Remember to like this video, share, and subscribe for more awesomeness. And see you next time, all my homies out there. And remember, stay hip to the geeks.